An exhibition entitled Nikola Tesla, the Man Ahead of His Time, relating to the life and work of the inventor of the 20th century, Nikola Tesla, at the Kotsanas Museum of Ancient Greek Technology in downtown Athens, Pindarou 6 and Akademias Kolonaki, that was going to conclude in January 2020 has been extended until March 18, 2020 due to the strong public interest. The exhibition, based on items from the permanent collection of the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade, explores the life the eccentric Serb-American genius who was responsible inventions as fundamental to our lives as alternating current, the Tesla coil, the induction motor, radio waves and three-phase electric current. The main part of the exhibit consists of interactive models of Tesla's inventions, including a Tesla coil and reconstructions of his laboratories, while also focusing on his unique personality and his dedication to science and progress for its own sake rather than for personal gain. Tesla was indifferent to fame and accolades and died alone and in poverty, leaving as his legacy to future generations a series of inventions and technology that are now more widely used than ever. The exhibition, which opened its doors to the public on October 1, seeks to teach but also hopes to inspire visitors and create the incentives that will inspire tomorrow's inventors. Based on the comments in the visitor's book, the public's response has been enthusiastic and it makes an ideal destination for families with exhibits that appeal to both young and old. The place was New York's Mulberry Street section, Little Italy, the time, shortly before 7 o'clock in the evening of August 11, 1896. Suddenly, in 1,000 tenement flats, in stores, in the small manufacturing plants of the area, dishes began to rattle on shelves, window panes set up a steadily mounting clatter, loose objects started sliding around, and plaster cracked and fell in cascades from ceilings and walls. Cries of Madre di Dio and Gesù Cristo echoed from open windows. Strong arms gathered up the babies, the old and infirm as a mass exodus to open pavement commenced. Many of the Italians were Neapolitans, born within the shadow of Vesuvius. To them what was happening was obvious, it was an earthquake. Pieces of water gushed from burst mains and machinery weighing many tons tore loose from anchorages and shifted about dangerously. In less than 10 minutes all this had happened, and the area affected rapidly mushroomed until more than a score square city blocks shook as if in the grip of a giant. The telephone system broke down under the load of frantic calls to police, but those worthies, a whole squad from the Mulberry Street Police Headquarters, had headed toward a loft building on Houston Street. Strange things had been associated before with the loft building, weird lights had been radiating from the top floor, unexplained hums and noises had been heard. When the police had pounded and puffed up the stairs of the loft structure, they saw a tall, thin man desperately banging away with a hammer at a small iron box attached to one of the supporting pillars of the room. Oblivious of the advancing cops, he raised the hammer once again and with a last desperate blow shattered the iron box. The earthquake ceased. Police records fail to reveal that an arrest was made on that fantastic day, and no serious injuries were reported as a result of the mall-made quake. Perhaps the thin man was not hauled away in handcuffs for the reason that he was Nikola Tesla, called by Arthur Brisbane, our foremost electrician, greater even than Edison. The iron gadget that had caused havoc in Mulberry Street was Tesla's telegeodynamic oscillator, a contraption operated by compressed air that set up by means of a rapidly shuttling piston a tremendous vibration capable of wrecking all structures in its vicinity if permitted to reach a certain crescendo. Years later, when the Empire State Building was erected, Tesla stated that this same oscillator could reduce it to rubble within a matter of minutes. Tesla's first major contribution to science was an alternating current motor, the transmission of electric power first in one direction and then in the other. Edison is credited with the invention of electric lighting, but his incandescent lamps burned on direct current, and a complete powerhouse was necessary for every square mile of area served, not to mention the thigh-thick cables which were necessary to carry the current into each building. Tesla's discovery made possible the use of thousands of electrically driven machines, from motors of electric trains to the clock on your kitchen wall. It eliminated the necessity for costly direct current conduits and brought electric lighting into universal use. For this alone, Tesla, son of a poor Serbian clergyman and a blind, illiterate mother, received $1 million in cash before his 30th birthday. The man who purchased it was George Westinghouse. Born July 10, 1856, in the Austro-Hungarian province of Lika, Tesla survived malaria and cholera before he was 10. These illnesses left him too weakly to pursue the conventional military career. Instead, he became a scholar and at 18 graduated from the Real Gymnasium at Karlovac, Croatia. His sickly childhood gave him a lifelong horror of germs, and at the height of his fame he always wore gloves, even in summer. He bought them by the dozens and they were always the same grey suede. For years he dined in regal solitude at the Old Waldorf in New York, at a table reserved for him alone, and at each meal he used up 24 fine linen napkins. He never put the same one again to his lips. The same went for handkerchiefs.